Move on to 3.12, Chancellor's reports.
Good evening, everyone, colleagues and board. I'd like to start our discussion of the Chancellor's report with the presidents, and I'd like to go in alphabetical order, starting with Berkeley City College, then College of Alameda, Laney College, and then Merritt College. And then I have just a couple of comments at the end. So Dr. Garcia.
Thank you. Good evening, Chancellor, President Napolia Bellaris, trustees, colleagues, and community members. In addition to the written report that you have in your packet, I'd like to highlight two additional items. The first news that I would like to share is that in the early hours of today, Berkeley City College received communication from the U.S. Department of Education that our cooperative ANAPISI, which stands for Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander Serving Institution grant with Laney College was funded, only one of two in the nation for this cooperative grant. This $2.5 million grant over 5 years will develop institutional capacity at both colleges, but really set up BCC to learn from our colleagues at Laney, as this is our first ANAPISI grant, whereas Laney has had several. This collaboration will certainly highlight the synergy across our district. The AAPI Healthy Transitions Program proposal will provide resources to further develop services to AAPI students, including mental health, physical space on the college campuses, again, primarily for Berkeley City College in this event, culturally grounded professional development for faculty, classified professionals, and administrators. And I'm going to leave the other big item for President Besikof to share in his report as one of the services that will come from this event. This cooperative grant really represents the very best of our community. And I know that we say that we're not in competition, but this is a joint effort, as the cutoff score for funding this year was 98. And our cooperative grant was at 106.33 with a competitive priority point. So it was really great. A huge thank you to our Laney colleagues, especially Dr. David Lee, and at Berkeley City College, Dr. Pumi Sayovang and Dr. Martin de Muchaflores for their leadership in pulling together all of the critical colleagues to submit a successful proposal, and more importantly, for putting our hard work in such a clear manner on paper. So I'm grateful for President Besikof. Felt like we've done fist bumps, elbow bumps, all kinds of bumps in the way that we continue to support students as partners. So that is great news for all of us in the district. And then it becomes kind of bookended that the second piece of news that I would like to share, it's really with a heavy heart that I'd like to share with the community, the passing of our beloved retired colleague, Miss Loretta Newsom. Miss Loretta, as she is known, passed away peacefully in her sleep last Friday, September 23rd. Her daughter kept us informed and will continue to let us know information about funeral services. But a few items or a few pieces of information is that Miss Loretta served for 46 years before she retired last year on March 15, 2021. And we had the privilege of honoring her at our end of the year celebration, where fun facts about Loretta were part of the trivia game that we had. When you have someone whose presence for nearly 5 decades in our district, she was a admissions and records senior specialist, a union steward, and memorably regarded as a maternal presence for many students and colleagues. I look forward to sharing more at a later date regarding services, and our deepest condolences go out to her daughter and their family. So what I would like to do is respectfully request that we adjourn this evening's meeting in the honor of Miss Loretta.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much. With that, that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Dear President Napolia Bellaris, trustee members here and in DC, Chancellor Jackson, colleagues, and community members. I'm honored to provide the first board report in my role as the acting president of the College of Alameda. And given that this is my first report, I'd like to start with some good news and stay throughout the report with good news. As I shared with the college community, as we work together in designing a spring schedule that reflects the demand of our students and the multiple modalities of learning and is focused in data-driven decisions that we discuss together, I'd like to share that these collaborative efforts, when we work together and we focus in our students, do produce results. As of today, there is an 18% increase in student headcounts at College of Alameda from fall to fall. There is an increase of 8% in the residential FTS. In addition, with 25% of classes yet to start, we still have some more room for FTS growth. There is a significant decrease in the number of low enrolled courses, 29% less courses with 1 to 15 students, and 19% less courses with 1 to 19 students. There is a significant decrease in the class cancellation, 61% decrease from year to year. Interesting also to note that only with 75% of courses in session and 25% yet to come, the today FTS is 3% higher than the entire fall 2021 FTS. So it seems like we starting in a better academic year. Some other great news. It was beautiful to be at COA campus today. As COA President Natalia Myers shared earlier, it was gorgeous to be outdoors. The COA student activities and campus life, COA Ethnic Studies, ASECO, and the Office of the President, in celebration of the Latinx Heritage Month, organized a Guatemalan textile weaving workshop and Tasty Tuesday. Guatemalan artisan Maricela Aguilar did provide a workshop on traditional Guatemalan textile weaving, while administrators, faculty, staff, students, and young children were enjoying exploring the beautiful textile pieces and sharing their experiences at COA, their experiences as immigrant coming from Cuba, Albania, and different countries of the world. Watching Maricela transform the yarn into beautiful fabrics made us reflect on the importance of being mindful of the tapestry of our Latinx community and our entire community, embracing and honoring diversity therein through courses, programs, services that support and enrich identities and develop a sense of familia at College of Alameda. Today, this month, and throughout the year, we celebrate the achievement of 2,527 Latinx students at COA, who comprise 28% of all student population. These members of the COA familia succeed in reaching their academic goals, despite the challenges of being first-generation college students, 68% versus 51% of all enrolled students. Latinx earned 22% of all students, learned 22% of all certificates and degree conferred during 21-22 academic year. In other news, I would like to share that we had a really great job fair with 26 employers participating, among which Alameda Unified School District, BART, Caltrans, East Bay Mud, Peralta Community College District, Alameda County Human Resources Services. Pete's Coffee donated really great coffee, and Semi-Freddy's brought some really good pastries and bread. There were 140 job seekers that were provided access to recruiters and hiring managers. But the most important, there are a lot of discussions of how we can partner together to create more academic programs and job opportunities for our students. And the last one, I would like to highlight the work of AMT, Esther Chang, and 6 students, Douglas Goodwin, Pablo Padilla, Paulden Jemyang, Vincent Chen, Alvin Peng, and Zoran Arbas. They participated in a table at the Reed Hillview Airport Aviation Career Exploration event on Saturday, September 3rd. It was a really great event, and 400 people visited the AMT table. This would note the AMT program is a great program that has been featured here several times. And I would like to thank again Professor Hoy Coy, Bruce Petty-John, George Cruz, and everybody else that makes it a successful program. This concludes my first report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I begin, great job, President Bajrami.
Mhm.
Good evening, Chancellor Jackson, President Napoli Belarus, members of the governing board, colleagues in education, community partners, and valued students. I'd like to begin in regards to the written report you received this evening. On page 2, there is a write-up of a great one-day conference we held on September 14th with not only Laney College, but also we're pleased to welcome folks from College of Alameda, as well as many industry partners and even four-year partners to discuss the future of artificial intelligence and data analysis. I was privileged to be there for the first hour, and it was really a very cool event. And I'm so glad to say that. I'm also pleased to provide you an update on my written report to give you some new data. At the beginning of the report, we found that at the time I submitted, we had a 14% increase in students compared to a year ago. That is now dated information. In fact, at the end of last week, it was 15%. So pleased to report that. But some things that are not in your report that I'd like to point out are that the percentage of students who are enrolling as full-time students actually has gone up by 0.5%, which is that's significant. And more than 1,200 students more have applied for financial aid than a year ago. So the positive momentum moves forward. October 14th, we're going to have Fall Fest to promote our late starting classes, most of which begin on the 18th. And the future's bright at Laney College when it comes to enrollment, and I'm so pleased to say that. The second thing tonight is part 2 of the BCC report. Hold on, we'll do this again. So excited to hear so early this morning about the NPZ grant and the fact that we were funded. And want to thank as well Dr. David Lee for his part at Laney in submitting. He's doing so much for our community, especially the outreach to our API community. And thanks a lot, in great part to efforts of colleagues like him. If you go to multicultural chamber events now in Oakland, Laney College comes out and shows pretty strong. In fact, at the last event, we had 6 people there. It was kind of neat. So we are actually only one of 2 proposals nationwide that got funded. And I think that's something that's incredible.
Awesome.
But grants are only as good as how you're going to use the funding. And we're going to be using it for a couple of really incredible reasons in collaboration with BCC. We're going to be looking at increasing and customizing our mental health counseling services to really serve and support API students in this current societal situation of, unfortunately, API hate that's in our community. Also looking at a community that is transitioning from pandemic to endemic and all the things that accompany that. So a lot of contemporary things that are going on. Also for our students who are taking ESOL, this grant will help transition them from ESOL to other classes and towards completion of a certificate, a degree, or even towards transfer. This is exciting. And it really shows the power of working together and something that's wonderful in the Peralta Community College District. Laney's been a pretty vibrant place. A lot of stuff going on our campus, and it's great to just hear all that noise on the quad. Just since the last board report, we had celebration of Constitution Day by the Associated Students of Laney College. On the 17th, we had a Pride celebration event. We had National Voter Registration Day as well. And this week, the Black Student Union has been putting on a series of Power of Your Vote events. And it was so great yesterday to welcome to the Laney College campus for those events, in addition to Peralta Colleges Foundation Director Lanice Jones, Oakland Council member Nikki Fortunato Bas, and to meet with her and speak with her a little bit. And she certainly was a prominent part of the events yesterday. Speaking of leadership, I am pleased to put the spotlight on our ASLC president, Omolola Atalagbe, who right now is at the National Congressional Black Caucus. And within your board report, you'll see a picture of her with her bag packed standing next to me. She's been busy and she's really hit the ground running as student body president. Last week, in conjunction with me, we put on basically a joint executive leadership meeting that we're going to have as a monthly event now, where the senior leadership of Laney College, or exec as we call it, will be meeting with their exec and having regular conversations. And I'm so appreciative of her for being open to trying this to see how it's going to work. In addition to that, during the summer, she was one of the first to join me on my podcast. And that was something that was great. And I'll actually close my report tonight by talking about that. Tomorrow, if you have the opportunity, and then of course, it'll be available in podcast form. But if you're able to listen to the radio tomorrow at 2 p.m., you'll hear a great conversation that Felicia Bridges and I had with Laura Gomez Contreras, counselor at Laney College, who runs our Puente program, something that is a rising star and just something that's getting more and more students every year and really promoting this idea of transfer. It's a great opportunity to hear about a 25-minute discussion of exactly what Puente is and what it does for students. And I really encourage you to listen to it. But also in our roles, often when we tell the stories of our colleges or tell the story of our district we represent, it's about students. And this experience now 16 episodes in, really saying, you know what, let's make our audience our students and then our community members who are also interested. If you backtrack into the archives of my broadcast, you can not only learn about the Puente program, but you can learn about student basic needs, the needs of students, and what Laney College and other colleges around the state are doing to support. You can hear the story of food distribution at Laney College that began with my predecessor, Dr. Gilkerson, and continues and thrives. You can learn about student life. Often for community colleges, of course, there's the classes you go to, but often what students do after class or before class or in between class, what that life looks like. We had a conversation about that. Student accessibility services. We had a conversation about that as well and talked about everything from state funding to actual programs for students. We also were privileged to have a couple of student success stories, a current student who was a suicide survivor, as well as a former student, alumni, who now teaches at Cal State Maritime. And then finally, and this has been probably the most visited show so far among our services for students broadcasts, we welcomed mental health specialist Susan Yee, and we talked about mental health support at Laney College, as well as the issues that surround mental health support. So as you go out into the community, board members, and tell your stories about Peralta, Laney College, and higher education, I hope you'll consider these broadcasts a support to you in your efforts. And with that, I'll conclude my report tonight.
Thank you, President Besikof.
All right. Good evening, President Napoli Bella-Reese and trustees, chancellor, colleagues, and community members. Merritt College recognizes that many of our students are going through difficult financial times right now, so we're working to support them and effectively managing and maximizing their resources. To that end, on Tuesday, September 22nd, we hosted the first financial literacy workshop offered in partnership with the Society for Financial Education and Professional Development. And our inaugural workshop was titled How to Manage Debt, Student Loans, and Maximizing the Use of Financial Aid. So over the next several weeks, we're going to offer 3 additional sessions. First one's on financial investments, another one on money management, and the third on tax management. And these workshops are open to all students across the district, so be on the lookout for dates and times for future presentations. Next, so earlier this month, the Peralta Community College District submitted its MIS program data for the 21-22 academic year. So everybody was bragging, so here comes my drum roll. So I'm happy to report that with a grand total of 1,034 awards, Merritt College granted the most degrees and certificates in the district. Yes, give it up. Yeah, I'll take it. So our students earned 427 AA and AS degrees. We earned 98 ADTs, 231 certificates of achievement, 268 certificates of proficiency, and 10 non-credit awards. So to account for 28% of the total degrees and certificates in the district is truly a testament to the skill of our faculty, the support of our classified professional staff members, and the fortitude of our students. So I salute you all. And speaking of students, I'm also proud to recognize the success of one of Merritt's alums, Ms. Brandy Howard. So last week, Ms. Howard was selected as the new president and CEO of the East Bay Community Foundation, EBCF for short. And now this foundation was established in 1928 and serves people across Alameda and Contra Costa counties. And as the head of this foundation, Ms. Howard will lead their efforts to partner with donors, social movements, and the wider community to eliminate structural barriers, advance racial equity, and transform political, social, and economic outcomes for all East Bay residents. Now, Ms. Howard came to Merritt as a mother of 3 and as someone looking to make a transition out of the workforce after 10 years, working in 10 years. She credits Dr. Siri Brown, our favorite Dr. Siri Brown, and the counseling faculty at Merritt for building her up and inspiring her to do great things. She also said that it was the English and African American Studies courses that prepared her for future success, and that she learned in those classes how to communicate clearly and think critically. And after Merritt, she went on to UC Berkeley, where she earned a bachelor's in African American Studies and a master's in public policy. And now she is the chief executive of one of the nation's oldest community foundations. So congratulations on that. Finally, so if Sasha is in the Ethernet somewhere, I want to share with you a brief clip of another a noble Merritt alum, the Honorable Sheng Thao, an Oakland City Council member. Thao recently visited her old stomping grounds at Merritt College. She's a former Merritt student. No, let me be clear. She wants me to be clear. She is the former valedictorian of Merritt College. Let's get it right. And she came up to Merritt to film a spot for an upcoming piece that we're trying to do. I also want to thank Mark and Joe Sullivan for their executive producer credits on this. So we're just going to show a brief clip of what's forthcoming. So go ahead. As it spins.
Merritt College holds such a special place in my heart. Walking these halls again, it's actually very emotional because Merritt College changed my life. It truly changed my life. I didn't know what I was signing up for. I just knew that I needed to do something to try to sustain my, to have some sort of financial stability with myself and my son as a single mom, unhoused. And so what I've learned through going through Merritt College is that it was all of the administrators, all of the teachers and instructors who were so supportive, allowing me to bring my son to class with me when he couldn't go to daycare. And so Merritt College to me saved my life.
Yeah, that's all right. And that concludes my presentation for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Presidents. I just have a couple of comments that I'd like to make before turning back over to President Reese that concerns things that are happening within the district. The first one is the state has implemented a multi-factor authentication let me go a syllable at a time, and that began September 26th. Basically, it's guidance from the state, also from the Department of Education, and also from our insurance provider, ACIP. And the process is really similar to what you do at your bank, that many banks and businesses that have online accounts are asking. Not only do you have a password that you're required to renew periodically, but you also are sent a secondary certification to ensure that you are who you are. Sometimes that can be via email or it can be via telephone. And so that was implemented basically in regards to the cyber attacks that we received and the financial aid fraud, and also to increase our data security. The other item that I'd like to address is the board had asked that we conduct a survey on masking, and we will be presenting that information to the board as it discusses not only the masking policy, but also the readoption of resolution 21/22-51 regarding the Brown Act and covered legislative bodies continuing to conduct meetings via teleconference. The board has asked for that information, and we will be providing it at our next meeting as that resolution will be coming up again. So just those two items, and I will turn it back over to President Reese.
Thank you, Chancellor, and thank you, Presidents, for all of that information. Again, congratulations to the ANAPISI grant. I love the fact that we're going to be using that fund, that grant for mental health awareness and mental health help, as well as the physical space and the cultural guided development. Dr. Bajrami, great report. Wonderful to hear that these increases across the board actually are increases that are going to continue to go up with late start enrollments. And Dr. Johnson, what? 1,034? Did I get that right? Wow. Fantastic. Just thank you all for all that you do. All of our students do, all of our faculty and staff do. All right, let's move on to the next item. And the next item is